Hello everyone, welcome. Plus, I would like to say something about this before. You know, I've played the entire Diablo series, but the only thing I haven't played was the PlayStation 1 version of Diablo 1, which had a little unique content to it. Aside that, I played Diablo 1. I've played the official expansion of Diablo 1, Hellfire, which is not part of the storyline. And of course, there was Diablo 2, which was just a huge undertaking when it came to the more connectivity of playing with a group. Of course, its expansion, the Lord of Destruction. And now here we are. Diablo 3. It's been a long time waiting. Now, of course, Diablo 3 has been out on the PC for quite a while, and it's even been on the PS3 and the 360 for a while, and soon it's going to get a special edition that comes with Diablo 3's expansion, and that's going to be available on the PS3, the PS4, the 360, and I think it's going to be on the Xbox One. I believe it is, but this is just the normal Diablo 3, obviously because the expansion isn't out for the console yet, so I can't really talk about that. And I do want to point, while I will take in perspectives of the past series to comparing to the PC version of Diablo 3 is hard, considering I've never actually played it, because I refused to fucking buy that DRM fucked up game. So, yeah. Do that, Blizzard. It's like, you gotta know your place, Blizzard. It's like stupid ass shit trying to pull off crap. But anyway, first thing, it's important to note the auction house thing was removed from the PC version and does not exist in the console version. So if that's any concern for anyone for whatever reason at this point, which I would think not, that's in there. So anyway, moving on to actual Diablo 3. Diablo 3 doesn't have really anything in its actual contents or anything, so I'm not going to worry about really showing that off. I mean, it's nothing particularly special when it comes to the cover of that. But the mechanics. So, how does Diablo 3 hold up on the console? Because I can tell you, while I've never played the PS1 version of Diablo 1, I've heard that it was quite horrendous to play. And the only reason some people ever play that is just for its co-op and unique content is all I hear these days. So, I have to say, I'm pretty impressed on how they put Diablo 3 on the console, to be honest. A lot of the interactive items like corpses and stuff are mostly automatic when you move up to them. There's a few things like chests that you can still interact with to open, but a lot of stuff like that is automatic when you move up to it, so no need to click. You have a very basic lock-on system in the game, which, depending on someone's spells or abilities, I find the lock-on useful and not useful. So, like, I'm playing a sorcerer in the footage you're seeing here, and like the freeze beam is pretty good at not needing the lock on to hit your target most of the time, and the lightning spell, well, it's random, so the lock on doesn't help a whole lot with it anyway. But I did try the voodoo job class too, so it definitely helps in those situations. But the lock on does feel a little flicky, flary. I mean, basically, the enemy has to be in front of you. Like, you can't just, like, be having your back face them and hope to lock on them. That is a bit annoying, but that could just, you know, you can get used to that. But, the interface with items. Now, I don't know how Diablo 3 on the PC works this way. You know, Diablo 1, 2, and its expansions and that, they've always had the exact same concept of the inventory space. You have this grid square by square system, and different items take different amount of squares and different shapes. Well, I don't know about the PC version. The console version just drops that, and basically you just have a number of items you can carry, which is up to 60. And I don't know if it increases, I'm assuming not. Now, if Diablo 3 on the PC is like its original counterparts, I think it actually was a smart move to drop it for the console. Well, understandably, it allows you to loot a lot of crap and that. At the same time, you know, that system of dragging shit around all the time constantly would slow the game down so much because of using a controller. So, to be honest, I again have to applaud for a console version. I think that was a smart decision. Now, one thing I really want to know when it comes to a difference between the PC and the console version is mana. I know mana and health regeneration was really changed up in Diablo 3. Basically, you just have health potions, and enemies drop like hearts that like red orb heart things that you can gather that restore your health, and it kind of helps the flow to keep going. And mana regeneration is flat loads higher. Like the lightning spell, I can spam that infinitely. There's no it does not consume enough MP to fucking stop me. Like, I can just do it constantly. It won't ever run out of mana. I would generate more mana than that. And I do wonder if that is like that in the PC version. If not, questionable to the balance, but I'd have to say for functionality might have actually been, again, a good idea for the console version. Now, the console version allows to use a lot of buttons, the face buttons and stuff, for a lot of hotkeying for abilities. So, well, I'm sure the PC version superiorly probably lets you activate more shit quicker and faster. The console version gives you enough buttons, in my opinion, for enough abilities to make it optimal in that. Now, I do find it weird that, you know, you basically can't use your regular melee attack or your range attacks so simply. When you first start, you can because you have those skills, but basically to actually make a button do that, you have to assign nothing to the button, and it will become your regular melee attack. And this actually seems pointless in the console version. You will also automatically do your melee attack when you're out of mana, so this really actually seems very pointless when it comes to the console version. Again, varying on how the mana regeneration is in the PC version, like I said, it's a bit of a shame I can't really have an idea of the PC version, because I really do wonder about some of these things. But the mana regeneration is just so fast, you basically might as well spam all your stuff, and if you run out, then you use melee, and you'll start regenerating, and you can do whichever particular spells you want. Now, there was a number of classes, some new, some old. Like, you have a mage-type class, the Barbarian returns, but you also have a Witch Doctor and a Demon Hunter, so mostly new, and some are just kind of reskinned new names, because the Witch Doctor kind of works like a Necromancer / Spellcaster, so it has a bit of a mixed variety in there. And the expansion is supposed to add a new class, but anyway. Now, how all your items are pretty much the same stuff. You got armor, wings, an amulet, and that. And carrying over from Diablo 2, Diablo 2 introduced the followers. And in its original build, before tons of patches changed a lot of it, followers were just temporary. They died, you had to get a new one. That over patches and updates, they made it where you could actually keep the same follower. You could basically keep reviving them. They could level up. You could give them basic upgrades and stuff. And that system got improved in Diablo 3. They can wear wings. You can give them new weaponry and shields and that. Plus, each follower, you get different followers. So far, I have two. The Templar and the Scoundrel, who's like a Ranger-type character. they get their own small skill tree, and you can pick between certain things they will automatically do, like heal or taunt enemies off you and stuff. So you get a little more customization with the followers. Plus, the followers actually have stories in Diablo 3 as opposed to Diablo 2, where they were just generic units that were in each act. Now they actually have stories, and as you progress, you can talk to them about more about their backstory, which is actually kind of nice in my opinion. Whew. So, about the story. So far, I have an up and down when it comes to the story. I like the idea of going back to Tristram. I mean, Tristram was one of my favorite areas in Diablo 2, hands down, just for that familial, because it was like so similar to its original self. Griswold was the boss in the area. You could find Wart's dead body, his leg, and tons of money over where it used to be. The area was almost identical to how it was in Diablo 1. And I really appreciate that level of detail. Well, you could nitpick some stuff about, but really, it was pretty close and decent. And the idea in Diablo 3 is that basically treasure hunters started wanting to go into the cathedral from Diablo 1 to look for treasures and witches and such. And it became so popular, eventually merchants started settling in the area near it. And that created New Tristram, and business was up and running again. The New Tristram isn't founded on top of Old Tristram, but it is near Old Tristram. You do get to walk through Old Tristram, which is a bit disappointing because it doesn't feature that nice detail, like I was saying, similar to Diablo 1, in my opinion. The layout isn't completely horrendous, but I can nitpick it more in my opinion. Personally, I think when you get to the cathedral, which is where the game really, starts getting the story up to speed, the cathedral is complete letdown in familiarity. It is just completely different architect and such. I mean, I know you're going to upgrade that, but in familiarity, it just doesn't have it there. But anyway, basically, Deckard Cain is at the cathedral at the beginning of the game in its cutscenes, and basically something comes colliding through the cathedral, and Deckard Cain falls down this freaking hole. So, you basically go down and try to find Deckard Cain, and King Leoric, who was the Skeleton King in Diablo 1, is back at fucking killing people again, which really doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you fucking killed him. And he has shitloads of powers he didn't have in Diablo 1, but whatever. Anyway, you save Deckard Cain, you get a few extra things done, you eventually get to the bottom, kill King Leoric, and you find at the bottom a human person was the meteor that crashed through the cathedral. And this sets in motion the events of finding out what's going on. Hell is uprising, demons are on the loose again, and nobody knows what's going on. Now, I don't know if it's the same voice actor, but Deckard Cain sounds just like Deckard Cain, which is just a good thing. I mean, some of the music sounds like some of the Tristram music, a little redone in there, updated and such. Yeah, I like those touches, those little throwbacks. That's actually really nice. I like that a lot. The Deckard Cain profile, though, looks very odd. I mean, I know the guy's a decaying old man, but I don't know. I don't like the particular art style with him. Now, here's the thing I have to freaking really fucking get pissed about in the story. He's basically taking care of a girl who was the witch in Diablo 1. I believe her name was Andrea or something like that. It's been a long time, so excuse me. But she been taken care of. She had a daughter, apparently, and Deckard Cain's been taken care of. Where was she during any of the events of Diablo 1? I know this might be really nitpicking, but this really just reminds me of Castlevania Curse of Darkness. It's like, Forge Masters, They were Dracula's most loyal servants, and yet they never appeared in Castlevania 3 when you would think they would defend the Lord and Master or something, you know. It's like pulling shit out of your ass, you know. So I have to call kind of bullshit on that, you know. No mention for at all, no real excuse. I mean, I could understand if Deck would say it, like, you know, I left her with a friend or something during the events of Diablo 2 or whatever, you know. Okay, cheap way of explaining it, but at least they explained it. As far as I know, the game doesn't explain where she was. So, it's really weird, considering she's like a young adult, teenager kind of age. I don't know any official age for her. So, I mean, you know, being younger, you think Deckard Cain would be more concerned about at a younger age. But, I don't know. That just kind of bothered me at that. But basically, you start trying to look for ways of getting this guy to remember who he is and such, and the events start to go into play. Now, I've gotten near the end of Act 1, if you're wondering, of my ideas of how far I am in this game. And I've tried to go online, mess with some settings and stuff to get an idea of what you can do. If you're familiar, obviously, with the previous franchise, you can reset the world. You can redesignate where you are on the quest line, which act you're on. You can change the difficulty, and keep in mind that doesn't change. That's really kind of weird. You have difficulty, then you have the mode difficulty that was in the original games. You know, normal, nightmare, hell, and that. You have that in normal difficulties. Normal, medium, hard, and stuff. It's like, it's weird. It's like 2 layers of difficulties on the game. It's like, I guess it's nice for variety's sake of how hellishly evil you are to yourself, but it's just kind of weird having these 2 different difficulty settings. But the difficulty settings for normal, hard, medium, and that, you have access to those immediately. The stuff like hell mode, nightmare mode, and that, you have to, like in the previous games, beat the game fully and then go into that mode and beat the game fully again and that. So that's kind of like the old games though. Now, I don't know how many acts are in the game, obviously, because I don't want to spoil the whole game up for myself. No, we just doing the first portions here. But, oh, also, I forgot to actually mention, there's a dodge that's specifically in the console version. Basically, you just use your white analog stick and flick it, and your character does a roll. Sometimes you'll evade and dodge and such. I think it has a timing mechanic similar to Dark Souls, but I'm not 100% sure. It does not exist in the PC version, and it was made probably to manage being ganged up on by a whole lot of freaking enemies, because you're at more of a disadvantage. But admittedly, it's not as huge as a disadvantage compared to what Diablo 1 was like on the PS1. You don't have a huge disadvantage, but you still have a bit of a little disadvantage being on the console, though. Admittedly, I'm impressed so far, gameplay-wise. While it has its changes in that from the original franchise and that, it also has a lot of familiarity, territory, you know, just killing lots of crap, finding loot, going on quests and that. Now, exploring seems vastly downplayed. While there are still, you know, big open fields and that, there aren't like 4 or 5 level caves and shit to explore randomly that have, you know, just completely a side thing that has no relation to the story. At most, you might find a small, like 4-room little area, like as a basement of an abandoned house or something. That's just a very minor distraction, but there's, as far as I've seen so far, there are no real side things in the game. It just keeps going forward. And they got rid of scrolls. Identification scrolls kind of made sense. Apparently, unidentified items have been just completely gone rid of. I haven't seen any items that are unidentified, and Declan Cain doesn't offer a service for that. So it looks like they threw that completely out. Town portals, you just gain that through progression. You can just open a town portal, so scrolls are gone, and they really just kind of streamlined the game. And so far, some of the boss fights and that, they kind of remind me, like, the dodging and that just kind of makes me feel like I'm playing like some kind of World of Warcraft MMO in a way. Like, a few of the bosses have just some traits that remind me of my times in World of Warcraft, so. But I wouldn't say in a horrible way, but I would have to get fought over. But so far, I actually am enjoying it, and it would be really nice to actually try and get with a group of, you know, people who aren't rushing and just like through everything and shit, you know, kind of experience the game at our own pace and that. I would actually like to find some people who would be interested in the play, because I am really enjoying Diablo 3 so far. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy the story. I would go more into the story, but obviously I don't want to spoil a whole bunch of it, because, you know, if you don't want it spoiled, you know, that's why I do that. But overall, I have to say, it keeps a lot of the familiar elements, but only changing or streamlining a lot of stuff. And so, you know, everyone's going to have certain things that they think is a good idea, or things that take away what they think might be taking away the challenge in that, you know. It just seems really up and down. And the game also carries on the achievement system that Blizzard implemented with those servers and that. What they did with trophies and that for the consoles is that they assigned those certain Blizzard trophies and that to be PlayStation or 360 achievements. And the other ones are just, you know, in-game little award things that you'll never really show off to anyone, because you can't connect your Blizzard account or anything to the game. So those are just kind of for yourself or anyone you can show about that. I don't know what I could really say more about Diablo 3 at the moment. Graphically, it looks pretty decent, to be honest, the 3D and all that. I do have to say some of the monsters I find kind of weird, though. I mean, not the monsters themselves, like, I'd say, like the Goatmen. The Goatmen have been in all the Diablo games now, but there was no time in the entire series I ever seen the Goatmen dig out of the ground to ambush you, and they do it all the time in Diablo 3, and that's so weird to me. It's like all of a sudden, rabbit hole goatmen are jumping now. I mean, there are a few familiar monsters. You know, you have the little, like, weird gremlin things that continue to still have the trait where they run away when one or some other monster dies and such. And of course, you have skeletons and zombies and things. But so far, I've seen a few familiar faces in that, so. Oddly enough, the little bat things, though, in Diablo 2 are also in it, which is a little odd, because, you know, Diablo 2 took place really far away from Tristram. Well, I mean, you do go to Tristram in Diablo 2, but you use a portal to fast travel there, and it never really illustrates how far away you are from Tristram, so I don't know. You could find that kind of maybe a little odd, but then again, you know, Diablo 1, you never really got to explore outside the town. So, you know, you could also argue that too. Who knows? Overall, I'd say Diablo 3 is worth checking out for the gameplay and the cooperative fun. The PC probably is in the superior version to play, probably, not guaranteeing, but, you know, that whole always online shit, you know, it's like, fuck that. I never support that shit. Just fuck that. So, you know, if that bothers you, get the console version. If that doesn't bother you, maybe consider the PC version. But basically, if you only care about the gameplay or playing with friends, probably recommend checking out the game. Story, I'm having mixed reactions to the story so far, so I think I'll talk about that. So it looks like And I'm just making a wild prediction here. It looks like the witch from Diablo 1 is going to have very strong ties into what's going on. Which is really weird because she's never mentioned ever in Diablo 2. She's just completely forgotten. 100%. And then all of a sudden, like her daughter, you find journals, you find hints that she might actually be alive. So, you know, overall, this kind of wings up as, I don't know. I feel like this plot's going to be pulled out of someone's ass, really, to be honest. And then, of course, there's the awful shame. This is so awfully stupid, in my opinion. But they kill off Deckard Cain early in the game. Deckard Cain survived so much shit. The last I can't say that freaking group he's a part. You know, he's old as fuck. He's been to hell in heaven. Like, good lord. And he just died in the lamest. Like, if he died really epically or something, sure. Like fucking walked in front of something to protect his adopted daughter or something. But no, the villain's just like, fuck you. Pfft, it did. Like, it's just so anticlimactic. And the person who does it, who's this cultist follower who follows one of the last two evils in hell, which are like the generals of the prime evils fighting over for hell or something, if I believe Nimble correct, way back when Diablo 3 was still being made and talked about what the fuck was going on as a story. But she's like such a fucking puppet, peeling in and out of your quest so far throughout the rest of Act 1. It's so fucking ridiculous. Like, if you're gonna kill Deckard Cain off, couldn't you really set up a better way for it? I mean, like, seriously, what the fuck? It's so anticlimactic and I don't know. I feel like, in the end, I'm gonna be one of the people who's gonna really bitch about the story for this game, because I just feel like they're probably retconning the living crap out of so much shit in this game that it's probably just gonna overall piss people the hell off when it comes to that. But, yeah, what can you do? Either way, those are my first impressions of Diablo 3. Hopefully the expansion might be worth kick ass. And, like I said, I'll be playing Diablo 3. Actually, I might do a Let's Play sometime here or that once I start getting, you know, some stuff cleared up and that. Anyway, until next time, I'll see you all later.
Let us seek our fortunes together.
It is good to fight with you again.
Someone lives here?
Stay away. There's nothing in here of use to you.
We should have known. The farmers left over a fortnight ago, and yet we stayed. Last night, we heard the beasts creeping closer. My husband left to investigate, and I haven't seen him since. All I have left are the things we made together. Hopefully, they are of more use to someone else.
These are dark times, my friend. I thought for a moment you were one of those dreadful goat men. Since you're not, would you like to buy something?
I do not fear pain. A monstrous creature!
I need healing!
So this is how it ends? They dragged my cart from the road, but for what? I can't get it repaired. Might as well dig a hole and die in it.
If that will make you feel better, perhaps you should.